Hey guys, I'm Adam from Top Dog, and I got an email over the weekend that had some really good questions about diabetic alert dogs, and they were so good, in fact, that I wanted to share them via this format so that way I could answer several people's questions at once. Sorry about that. Because these are some questions we get pretty frequently. Now, most of you know, if you've seen kind of our diabetic alert dog training process, that you're along for the whole process, which means you get to also be along for picking out the right dog. And so I want to start with that. We got an email from Lori. So hi Lori, hope you enjoy this video. You had some great questions, and so you're the one that inspired this. So one of the questions she asked that's really important was, would it be okay to start with an older dog, like a 1-year-old dog, maybe a rescue or something like that? And there's not a quick and easy answer. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to make a video, because I wanted to talk to you, Lori, about how there's some pros and cons to that. Starting with an older, more mature dog, some of the benefits are the fact that you can work a little bit harder right off the bat. You don't have to go through all the puppy stuff, the potty training, all that. So that's a huge benefit there, and very helpful in the training process, because you're going to be spending so much time training for those diabetic alert tasks that if you can forego some of the other stuff that all dogs need to go through, then you'll definitely be a little bit of a step ahead there. You also get a little bit better idea of what the dog's real, true personality is. You know, it's really disappointing, and it's a huge bummer sometimes when you're working with a dog that you thought was great as a puppy, and even with all the aptitude tests that we put them through, sometimes the dog will still flunk out for some reason or another. As they mature, a problem will pop up that we didn't expect. And so that's a pretty big deal as well. So you can eliminate some of that. You can get a real good idea for a dog's aptitude and personality when you get a 1-year-old dog. Now, that being said, it's pretty hard to find a 1-year-old dog that fits the bill of making a great service dog. You have to spend a lot of time looking. Trust me, I've had to do it multiple times, and it's a big challenge. It's doable, and it can be worthwhile when it happens, but it's a big challenge, because a lot of times dogs come with some baggage and stuff, especially when you're working through rescues and shelters and things like that. It can be difficult, to say the least. You're looking for that needle in a haystack, but they are out there. We've had some successful ones. So yes, it can be worthwhile. Getting an older dog absolutely can be okay. The other downfall that sticks out to me of getting a rescue dog is not knowing the genetics. When you work with a breeder who is a very responsible breeder and is doing health screenings and testing for any genetic issues, you have a lot lower risk of things like dysplasia or heart disorders, eye disorders, and things like that, which can all make a dog have to flunk out of the program as well. It's not just about how great the personality is. If a dog physically can't be out there working with you all day, every day, they might not be able to make it as a service dog. And so when you adopt a dog from the shelter, one of the first things I recommend is, and before you even adopt, is see if the shelter will agree to let you take the dog to the vet and do some pretty in-depth screenings, x-rays of the joints, heart and eye tests, things like that, above and beyond what you would normally do for just a routine vet visit. Because again, you don't want to put a lot of time and effort into a dog that all of a sudden a year down the road starts limping, and you find out they have hip dysplasia and they're not going to be able to keep working for you. So those are some of the pros and cons. They're pretty tough to weigh out, and you got to think about that personally, about whether or not that would work for you. Let's see here. Lori's next question was talking about if there are breeds that are better at becoming a diabetic alert dog. And the answer to that, again, is yes and no. Again, it's kind of complex, because personally, I love working with labs and retrievers, but I've had some great border collies, Australian shepherds. I've had some good working breeds. So working breeds are going to be the ones that you find tend to do the best, or I say working breeds, but just dogs that were bred to have some kind of job. Dogs that have just been bred for years to just be companion animals don't always do quite as well, because again, we're asking a lot of a service dog, and especially a lot of a diabetic alert dog, to be constantly having to monitor our blood sugar. That's a hard job. It's a lot of work, and so you need to make sure that you're getting a dog that has some of those qualities already. So to answer your question, can any dog do it? Well, I've seen just about every breed be a diabetic alert dog, but I think some of them had a lot harder time with it than others. And again, like I said, my preference tends to be the labs, the golden retrievers, some of those types of breeds. They tend to be the easiest to train for this type of work. But other breeds are also an option. So as you're doing your aptitude testing and stuff, if you decide to adopt an older dog, keep other breeds in mind, because I've worked with, like I said, some amazing other breeds that weren't my prime choice. So yeah, you can definitely get some other breeds in there as well. Let's see here. Now, another question you asked was, just regarding cost and how a service dog can definitely be very expensive when you're having to do lots of training. And the way that we've handled that, you can see on our website, our pricing model. We try to help with that, in that it's kind of a pay-as-you-go thing. The other thing I always like to remind people about is just fundraising. You'll be amazed at how many people jump on board and want to help you when they see the amazing thing that a service dog, that a diabetic alert dog can do for someone. And so folks that are active in churches or other groups and clubs and things like that, believe it or not, we had one client that was able to raise over $20,000 to pay for all their training, the dog, the supplies, the vet visits, all that stuff. They were able to raise all that in about a month, because they did a couple of fundraisers at their church, their school, and I think there was one other club they were involved with. It was just incredible, the outpouring that they had. Now, that's not typical. Most folks it does take a little bit longer than that, but just keep that in mind, that no matter what, even if you're trying to do a lot of the training yourself, that you're going to have some other costs that come up, and so keep that in mind, that you might want to try to do some fundraising. I think that was it for Lori's questions. So Lori, I hope you felt like you got some good answers from that. Like I said, none of your questions were really yes/no answers, and that's why I wanted to take the time to make a video for you. And also just because there's a lot of other folks that have these questions as well. So thanks so much for writing, Lori. Hope this helped, and hope any of you guys that are watching also felt like this was pretty helpful. Feel free to shoot us an email with your questions. This might be something new that we start doing, where we start making these videos to answer questions a little bit easier, because this would have been an extremely long email, obviously, and so hope you liked it, and thanks for watching. I'm Adam from Top Dog. Hit that like button, share it with your friends, and let everybody else who might be interested in this know about our program and how we're trying to help everybody that needs a service dog.